Is it working? Oh, I forgot to set my webcam. Whoops. So we're doing this a little differently. Everybody calm down. Yeah, you can see my desktop in the background. Ignore that. Cover up Adrian's face really quick so people don't get mad. Um um I have made the switch to OBS for those of you who couldn't tell the format. The reason being I don't have a reason. I just decided to give it a shot, and I streamed for a long time with OBS. It was what, a 2.5 hour stream, 2 hours 10 minutes. I did a Darksiders 3 stream, just because. I was bored, so why not? That's not the point of this video, though. The the main point of this video, for me anyway, is to talk about how I feel after, God, it's been over 2 weeks. It's been almost 3 weeks. Tomorrow will be 3 weeks since I stopped working. And I've had a lot more time to myself. Which has been excruciating, to say the least. To have all this time by myself with nothing else to think about, other than if somebody wanted something from me, or if somebody wanted to hang out, or blah, 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 it didn't matter. But it's been interesting, because I've had all this time to sit down and record, and I haven't. Like, a couple years ago, I would have killed to have this much time to sit down and record. But the moment I actually have it, the first thing I did wasn't to sit down and record, which is fascinating to me. And you guys are gonna have to excuse my hair. It's a little all over the place. It's in its curl back up stage again. Before it gets longer, before it looks longer again. The next time I wash it. Because I wash my hair every other day rather than every day, because that's a pain in the ass. Anyway, but I find it very, very, very fascinating that the first thing I decided to do when I left my job, well, I didn't even leave my job, I got fired, for bullshit reasons, which I don't think I've ever told the story publicly. Probably not. Essentially, about 3 weeks ago, it was a Tuesday. It was the last Tuesday I ever worked. And I was working an evening shift. I think it was 2 to 8. I think it was something like that. I was helping clean up after the lunch rush. It was a mess. And I was sick that day. Like, coming out of both ends, sick. I don't think I need to elaborate any further, because it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So I pushed through it, and I went to work anyway. I didn't tell anybody. I was like, just keep it on the down low, especially with the current climate of COVID still being around and whatnot. I was like, no, I keep it on the down low. I don't want them to quarantine me, because that would have made me feel worse. I worked for an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that. I can't exactly remember how much time I worked straight. And then I couldn't take it anymore. I went to the employee restrooms, and it just started coming out of both ends violently. Like, I could not stop throwing up. I couldn't stop shitting my ass out. I felt awful. I sat, and after that, I sat on the toilet for like an hour, and after that I sat in the break room for another half hour. And then I asked the other guy who was there, who had just showed up, and I'm like, dude, are you all right if I if I just call it a day, because I feel awful. Like, and he's like, yeah, he was pretty understanding about it. And he was like, yeah, go home, get some rest. I'm like, all right, cool. So I went to go clock out. My manager, Julie, her name is Julie, one of my managers at that time. I clocked out right in front of her, and I'm like, I'm going home. I feel awful. She didn't say a word, and I left. And then the next day, after I like passed out, like in my bathroom, because I just couldn't stop throwing up. I couldn't stop. Like, any little tiny stimulation that I had tried to get myself to start feeling better, instantly, violently projectile vomiting everywhere. It was nasty. And so I passed out, and I woke up the next day. I felt 900% better. Like, I actually could, like, I didn't have any intestinal pain. I didn't feel terrible. I felt pretty good that day, actually. It felt like I had just cleared my system. Like, I feel like that's what it was. Mostly it was just clearing my system of all that shit, both literally and figuratively. And I went to go look at my schedule to make sure I was off that day, because it was Wednesday. And at that point, I had no idea how much time had passed. So I was like, what am I going to do? What is today? What do I work? What, yada, yada, yada. And I went to go look at my schedule. Boom. I had no schedule. I was supposed to work the rest of that week after Wednesday. They didn't tell me anything. They didn't send me a message saying I was fired, and that was it. And it's been almost 3 weeks since then. And from what I've heard, it's pretty much a shit show there going on right now. And I don't feel any pity in the slightest. I don't, because having this time to myself has been very cleansing. Not having to worry about getting to work, not having to worry about maintaining a schedule for a little while. It's very... I feel way better now than I did 3 weeks ago. And not just because I was sick 3 weeks ago on a Tuesday. Like, I haven't been sick since. I've gotten plenty of sleep. Like, that's the one thing I've missed, is getting tons and tons and tons of sleep. To actually rest. Like, actually getting proper rest. I haven't had that for years. And it feels so good to be able to lay down and not have to worry about getting up at a specific time. Granted, I still feel terrible waking up some days at noon or 11 o'clock at the day. It's just very... trying to think of the word. It's very... I don't know. I can't think of what I'm trying to say, but it's very, very much good for me to be able to finally have this time to recuperate, to rest properly. Like, I've been sleeping in between 9 to 12 hours every night. And I think it's just because my body knows this is the time to make up for all the sleep you've lost over the past 3, almost 4 years. And it's very interesting. To me, anyway. Like, it's very interesting to know that I have all this time on my hands now, and I'm not using it specifically for my channel. like, I've been doing some things here and there, and I've been playing games. Like, don't think I haven't been playing games. I've been playing games that I haven't had a chance to play in forever. Like, Darksiders 3, I finally got back to Darksiders 3 because I figured out what was wrong with it. Eventually, I'm going to get back into modding Skyrim. I'm not going back to modding Xenoverse 2. I debated that, and the main reason I decided not to was because my game was already borked when I left it. So, no, we're just not going to go back to that point. I already have almost 3,000 hours in Xenoverse 2. So we're not doing that. Skyrim is a lot harder to just play for hours and hours and hours and hours like that. It is a lot harder. Even though my high school life would say otherwise, because I had 4,000 hours in my 360, on my 360. My OG 360, which I still own, I still have, and it still functions. I just don't have a TV to hook it up to anymore. And I would hook it up to my PC and play it that way. But for those of you who don't know, the 360 never got, the OG 360 didn't use HDMI, so I can't just hook it up. Most TVs don't have the ports for those anymore. So I'd have to get an older TV just to hook that up and play it. And I don't want to waste money getting out on my one, even though I'm probably going to, once things settle down and I get another job eventually and whatnot, get back to the point where I'm being regularly productive, especially on my channel. Like, that's something that's going to be changing over the next couple weeks. I'm going to be a lot more active on my channel because now is the time for me to be doing videos, like 100%. Like, my buddy Nick and I, Nick, if you're watching, hi, I'm mentioning you again. Nick and I talked about, like, this is the time for me to focus on my channel. The whole unemployment benefits thing ends in September, and Nick basically said, you might as well just ride those benefits out until they're gone. And I'm like, sure. I'd be okay with that. Like, personally, I'd be okay with that because having worked almost 4 years straight it's not easy. For those of you who are just now getting to the age of getting a job, just think about where you're going to be 4 years from then and think of how exhausted you're going to be at that point. Because the exhaustion doesn't hit early on. It never hits early on. And especially when you're my age. I'm 23. So when you're my age, you're a lot more mellow about it. Like, when I start a new job, I'm going to be pretty chill about it. Like, when I started that job over at the Barrel, the Cracker Barrel down the street, I was very nervous. Not because I didn't think I could do well, but because it was new. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know exactly what they were going to expect. Actually, that's not true. I did know Jason. I did know Jason, the general manager at the Cracker Barrel there all those years ago. And he easily, hands down, one of the best managers I've ever worked for. Jason. Like, I've known Jason and his family, because Jason is Quentin's uncle. And that was interesting to find out that Quentin's uncle worked there. And for those of you who don't remember Quentin is a religious fanboy. He's one of my oldest friends. I really miss hanging out with him. I'm not gonna lie, I miss hanging out with all my old friends. from school anyway, because there's Michael, Michael Rock, and Religious Fanboy. We went to school together. Me, Quentin, and Michael. We're all quirky in our own little ways. I hesitate to say I'm probably the most normal of the three of us, but I think we're all pretty great in our own ways. Good God. Need to comb my hair again. I don't know what to do with it at this stage. I'm going to go on a minor tangent and talk about my hair again. I don't know what to do with it at this stage. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be tying it up every day or what I'm going to do with it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. It's gotten this long. This is the longest it's ever been without looking absolutely disgusting. Because at this point, the last time it got even close to getting this long, I had it all like swept back. At this point, right now it's still in the way my hair naturally sits, so that's why it looks the way it does, and that's why it looks fucking awful. But anyway, minor tangent aside. That is something that's going to change very, very, very soon. Over the next couple weeks. And I say over the next couple weeks because having broken my YouTubing schedule ages and ages and ages and ages ago, it's going to take me a while to get back into it. Like I've been trying to push myself to get back to it, but couldn't. Like I was hoping, like when I did, God, let me take a look. Like when I did Subnautica, I was hoping I'd be able to get back into that. When I finished Devil May Cry 5, I was hoping I would get back into it. When I did Bloody Palace, when I finished Amnesia Rebirth and Alien Isolation, I was hoping I would get back into my swing. When I did Resident Evil Village, I was hoping that it would help me get back into my swing of things. And I think the main reason Resident Evil Village didn't help was because of my disappointment with it. Like, I went in with fairly moderate expectations. But looking at it now, the main game, talking pre-DLC, because DLC for Resident Evil Village was announced at E3. Like, they're working on it. Like, they just started working on DLC by popular demand, because they sold enough copies and made enough money off of it that they're like, yeah, we'll make DLC. But my main disappointment with the way Resident Evil Village was handled is I find it suffers the same flaws that Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6 have with the series, and that they're too action-y and less horror-focused. And that may be because, like, I'm fairly desensitized to 90% of the things that the horror genre can throw at me now, because I've been playing horror games for almost 5 years. I've been subjected to a lot. And Subnautica definitely desensitized me even further, because handling my fear of the ocean hurdle wasn't easy. And it's not going to be easy when I play Below Zero either. Yes, that is me announcing it right now. I am going to be playing Subnautica Below Zero. Soon. I'm not going to make any promises of when, but it'll be soon. I wish this curly Q would get the fuck out of my face so I could talk and not be distracted. Because the main games I want to focus on, two in particular, I want to play Prey and I want to play Doom Eternal. Because guess what? I figured out why my Doom Eternal was borked. And it's kind of the reason why we're using OBS. Bringing it full circle, it's the reason why we're using OBS now. And it's because Bandicam and my Doom Eternal, they don't mix. And it took me 6 months to figure that out. You guys can tell I'm really, really happy about that. The difference between Doom Eternal and Doom 2016, I'm not playing Doom Eternal on Ultraviolence because I've been playing it in my off time. I tried it out in my off time, and Ultraviolence kicks my ass. Like, I don't claim to be the best gamer, but I'm a fairly competent shooter, and Doom Eternal kicks my ass. Like, and I like that. I love that. It's finally a game giving me a clear challenge. But if I'm going to do a Let's Play, I have to be making progress. And that's the problem with Let's Plays, is that's one of the few flaws that I found in Let's Playing as a video style, is that you have to be making clear-cut progress. If I were cutting out all the failures and making a blooper reel, that would be one thing, which I've thought about. I've thought about doing that sometimes, cutting out all of the failure and making the main videos be the Let's Play and leaving the bloopers for extra video. But I don't know. I haven't thought about it too thoroughly yet. But eventually I'll figure out what I want to do to mix up my video style. Because the thing with no longer using Bandicam is recording with OBS is just as easy, but I don't have to mess with multiple files anymore. Because the thing that differentiates OBS recordings and Bandicam recordings, Bandicam records your game by hooking into the game itself, rather than just recording what's on your screen. OBS records what's literally on my screen. It is literally a display capture. So anything that's on my display, my second display over here, this one over here, that's over here, that my webcam sits on, because it's more towards the center, because I like to center my camera for some fucking reason. But I totally blanked out and completely forgot what I was talking about. Oh yeah, the recordings. It literally just records what's on my screen. So if the game crashes, it won't corrupt my footage, which is something that I've been wanting for a long time, a recording software that doesn't corrupt my footage every time the game crashes. And the reason why I've been so hesitant from switching to OBS is because with my old PC, I did not have the CPU to record with OBS and play a game at the same time. I did not. I barely had the CPU to record with Bandicam at the time. That doesn't mean I'm getting rid of Bandicam. I'm still keeping it. I'm still keeping Bandicam, but probably more. It's probably going to be more situational than it is going to be for recording. And the reason for that is, I don't know, I have an attachment to it because I don't like to get rid of things. It was the same thing when I switched editing softwares for the first time and when I switched from Movavi. Even though I was happy to switch from Movavi, because the reason why I was happy to switch from Movavi was because it was a piece of shit and didn't want to work for me, so I got angry. But when I switched from Bandicut to Movavi for the first time, it was very intimidating for me because having such a complicated software just dropped on me of my own volition. Like, I took it on as a challenge to myself to learn how to edit things properly, which I have for the most part. I've learned a few tricks here and there. I'm not a master editor, but I am a decent editor. Um, but when I switched for the first time, because those first two best ofs were made with Bandicut, and best of 3 was the first major project I ever worked on in an actual editing software that was specifically for editing and nothing else. And it was so much fun. Like, I still say to this day, my best of Volume 3 is one of the best, highest quality videos I've ever made because of how decent the editing is and how much love and care I put into it. I spent so many goddamn hours editing and editing and editing that fucking video. I probably didn't even put 1/10 of the effort into my best of 4, which was just kind of an extra project. I probably didn't put 1/10 of the effort into my best of 4 than I did in my best of 3. And the other thing that separates my best of 3 from any of my other best ofs is the sheer amount of variety that happened that year. There were so many games that I played that year, and there were so many good moments that happened that year. I mean, it was followed up with one of the worst years of my life, I'm not gonna lie, but it was a phenomenal year for me because there was so much growth personally and content-wise. And I feel like that's the point where I kind of came into my own. And I was comfortable with my style of recording and making videos. I was finally done. I was finally putting aside all the references and emulating other YouTubers. I was finally just being me. I was becoming my own person. Which is weird to say because it's my content and I should always be just me and never pretending to be somebody else. But it was such a good time for me because I was doing all these good things. I was playing all these great games, and I was playing games with other people. I was doing collabs, and I was hanging out with a bunch of cool people, meeting new people every day. I was in my element at that time. And that's kind of the reason why last year was so bad. Wasn't just because of all of the garbage that I went through, but also because I was out of my element. I had stopped meeting new people. I stopped doing collabs. I stopped trying new things. And it was, in terms of content, it was easily one of my worst years. And I'm hoping that this year will be better. Even though I only have till September now to get out some good solid videos, because then I have to start putting together my best of 5, which will probably be one of the shortest because there won't be that many games to pull. Actually, no, there will probably be plenty of games to pull from. There just won't be as many moments that I was actually proud of happening. Because I didn't do a whole lot. I really didn't. Especially considering that my PC died. Like, my PC had died and other stuff. Blah, 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 blah. There was all sorts of stuff that went on. I want to be better. I want to be doing better. And I'm hoping things will get better. Especially not only content-wise, but personally. Because I think I think I've been trying to break that 2,000 video mark for the past 2 years almost, and I just haven't been able to do it. And it's mostly because I just haven't been making as many videos. And I'm hoping that it will all start coming together. Like, I'm hoping to do more collabs. I'm hoping to do more variety in games. Like, I'm going to be doing Prey. I'm going to be doing Doom Eternal. Eventually, I'm going to get back to The Evil Within. Oh, God, what other games do I have lined up? I'm hoping to do The Forest, 7 Days. I've been meaning to do videos on 7 Days for ages, because I've been playing it modded a lot. Subnautica Below Zero. I'm going to be doing Below Zero. What other games on my wish list do I have? Because I haven't bought Below Zero yet. Which I regret. I regret not buying Below Zero when it was still in early access. Because it went from $20 to $30. After its release, so now I have to pay more money. It'll be all right. It'll be okay. I hope. I hope everything will be all right. So hopefully more stuff will be coming soon. I'm hoping to do some streams more often. I'm hoping to do some more streams, like that casual Darksiders 2 or 3 stream. Sorry, every time I say Darksiders, I immediately think of 2, because Darksiders 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, and it's easily the best of the Darksiders series. Vigil games at their best before they shut down. Not saying that Darksiders 3 is bad. It's Darksiders 3 is my second favorite out of the 4. The reason why Darksiders Genesis is so low on my list is because it wasn't made by Gunfire. It was made by another studio. Not saying they did a bad job. I just didn't enjoy it as much as the other 3. And I hope we hear more about the continuation of the Darksiders series. I'm hoping. I hope we're not going on another 7-8 year hiatus. Because I want more Darksiders to play. And I can play more Darksiders whenever I want, because I have all the games. I could go back and play more of the games on stream. I've been meaning to do a hardcore Dead Space 2 run through forever. Like, that was something stream worthy that I've been meaning to do for ages. Because my plan with the hardcore run on Dead Space 2, and the reason why I picked Dead Space 2 over 3, is because Dead Space 2 is not only harder, but it's also a lot more balanced than Dead Space 3 is. Also, I've played too much Dead Space 2 already. When I did the co-op with Bart, it just continued to show me how much I hated the balancing and the gun system and the story of Dead Space 3. Like, it just showed me how much more I hated it than I actually realized. When I did my Let's Play on it, I didn't feel too bad about it. And that was around the time I got my new PC, which was years ago. Not this one. I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about the other tower that I got. The first tower that I ever bought with my own money. This one is only tower number 2, which makes that other tower look like a little hard drive. I'm still really proud of my purchase. This was a $5,000 tower, so I better damn well be proud of this purchase. And it's done really good for me. The past 6 months. Oh God, sorry, I'm allergic to my own bullshit. I think that's the sign I've been talking too long. I know some of you aren't going to be too thrilled that, oh, it's just another vlog where he's talking about stuff and blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and start Prey tonight. Like, immediately after I edit down this vlog. The reason why I run it through I render it out is because it makes the file smaller and makes it easier to upload. Still takes YouTube forever to process it, though. But I'm really excited to start getting back to work. Like this hiatus that I've had, it's been good for me, and not working for the past while has helped. It's definitely helped. My mindset's helped. My attitude towards it, because my attitude towards recording was, I have to sit down and record. And now my attitude is, yeah, let's go sit down and record. That's my attitude now. My attitude isn't, I have to do this. I want to do this now. Like, it's starting to come back to me. My spark is starting to get reignited. I've lit the spark. It's and the flame is caught. So hopefully I'll get some good content out, and hopefully I'll be playing some games with some people, and it'll be good. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I have to keep it down because it's almost midnight, so I'm going to be doing a midnight recording. So it's not going to be super energetic, but it's going to still be me. And I'm excited. I'm excited to play games for you guys again, and I'm excited to get back to work on what I love, which is making videos. I can legitimately say that I am immensely excited to get back to making videos again. And it's going to be a fun week. Like, this next couple weeks, it's going to be a fun couple weeks. Getting back into that habit and getting back into the swing of things. So yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!